Alright, let us begin Lesson 6. This is the remaining part of our last lesson. Last lesson, we reached this position, right? In most cases, white captures here and black counterattacks. We are not afraid of a ko either. There are only a few other cases. Black can play very forcefully here. When black has thickness around it, black can also choose to give atari here. Black gives atari here, then waits for white to extend and captures afterward. At this point, white certainly will not capture here, because if white captures here, whether black captures or connects, the exchange of 6 and 7 is very favorable for black. It is very favorable for black. White becomes a clumsy shape and the reduction also fails. With the exchange of 6 and 7, this territory belongs to black. So, when black gives atari here, we should not go that way, we should give atari here instead. After the atari, this is clearly a ladder that favors black, right? The ladder fails. If white plays on the lower side, the center is basically already dead. Since fighting is unfavorable for white, white should not fight head-on. White should escape lightly with a jump. After black captures, white extends outward. Black has not enclosed the lower side, and black needs one more move to secure it. Both sides can accept this result. White does not fight head-on and simply turns away. Black gives atari and captures. For the moment, despite is not favorable. So white jumps, waiting for black to capture. Why does black not push? Because that push is not worthwhile. After the push, the other side is left damaged.
Why can't black extend here?
It is much like the last variation, black extends, white hains, and when white captures, black connects. It is almost the same diagram with only one extra push. Either way, black's stone is left weak, so black does not push.
When white hains, black gives atari, then white connects. Can't black clamp here?
White can clamp once too. So what was the point of black's push at 12? It made white thicker and black thinner here. So did that original push help black? No, it did not help black. That triangle becomes thinner, while white becomes thicker. Compare it with a direct capture, white is not as thick and black is not as thin. A direct capture gives the opponent no agi. You leave two forcing moves. If black gives atari here, white connects. Black ataris, white captures. No forcing move remains. Let me ask, if white attaches underneath, how should black respond? Do not show the answer. Once you have decided, just choose it. Three, 2. It looks as if everyone has chosen. Yes, the answer is the wedge. Do not retreat. Even though hain against white is not bad, the wedge is the most severe move. Black can capture this white stone directly. If white struggles to escape, it will be dangerous. White has no liberties on either side. In an ordinary position, this under-attachment may be fine, but black is exceptionally thick here. So when the opponent is very thick, we must play with great care. Elsewhere, you would not need to worry so much, but when the opponent has thickness, be especially alert to a counterattack. Once a group is thick, many moves become possible. Moves that normally make no sense may become appropriate, so this move cannot be played here. That means white may only be able to play this way. Look how much thicker black is than after the earlier extension. So white does not go there. White first makes itself stronger, then can come back to fight without fear. Or later, white can play from this side and reduce black's territory. White turns away lightly because a head-on fight is unfavorable. Some students see that the latter is unfavorable and choose to give atari here. That is a very serious loss. Afterward, this stone is completely dead and has no aji at all. White's outside group is not alive yet, so this atari must never be played. Tanuki, do not atari and sacrifice. Why not a knight's move? Black extends, and white cannot invade below. You cannot get in here again. The previous move at least left an escape route. Later, when you want to attack these two black stones, you can still separate them with a small diagonal. That leaves white a way out. Alright, let us set out the variation once, starting here. Where did everyone go wrong? White needs a knight's move. After the jump, white needs a knight's move. Some captured and some extended here. That fight does not seem to work either. Small diagonal. Some also gave atari directly here, but that is certainly a loss. White has another option, not. An extension. This is more violent, it is a head-on fight. White counter ataris. Black's extension is not good because white gains one more forcing move. Then captures black's second wine stone, so black loses. So black captures only one stone. When repairing a weakness, one move should repair it completely. Do not leave the opponent another forcing move or aji. Black captures one stone and white gives atari here. Now both sides are fighting. In this variation, white destroys the corner territory, while black encloses the side territory, but white is not alive. This is a messy fight. Both sides have chances. Black encloses this territory and the territory along this side, but the corner has been reduced. White's whole group is not alive, while black is strong on the outside, so white must be cautious when running away. White can consider this variation. It is playable, it is not a failure for white. If you are strong, white can choose this. But if you feel your own strength is not enough, or your outside support and whole board thickness are not enough, then make the exchange. Play this way instead. If the surrounding stones are thick and fighting favors you, then you can play directly here. Because later this corner no longer belongs to black. Let us set out the variation, the counter atari variation, the fighting variation, the variation where white chooses to fight black. White's turn in the corner is still sente, because white can make life locally. It is the counter atari, give atari here and connect. If white needs to make life later, this turn is centan. White can turn now. If black seals it in, white can make life with a small diagonal in the corner. Black wedges, white makes a tiger's mouth with outside liberties. Direct capture, white hains and makes a tiger's mouth. Unnecessary, it is large. Does black have another method? Black can give atari here. After black ataris, white can connect and live. Or make a tiger's mouth and live. Both are alive. White can turn immediately. Black may keep the position in reserve. Black can seal white in or atari away white's eye. White does not need that. White's turn is large territory and also leaves an eye. This is white's counter atari variation. Many students played the extension and mixed it up. Alright, there is another, stronger option. When the ladder favors black, black can hain and cut. Which ladder? This one. When this ladder favors black, black can hana and cut directly. Black can fight here. If the ladder favors black, this move is playable. Try it next time. But when white presses, black must extend. What if white worries that black's ladder is favorable and white has no suitable ladder breaker? Then use another method of reduction. Play here. If black still wants to enclose the left side territory, white attaches here directly. White may jump, black ataris, white counter ataris. A knight's move is poor, black plays a small diagonal. Against the small diagonal, white attaches here, and then white extends once. Black's lower side territory is reduced. If black crawls, white jumps. If black does not crawl, white first makes a tiger's mouth and then turns. White can make an eye on the lower side. This avoids the variation where black fights while the ladder favors black. Normally black should make a knight's move because white's stone is closer to the lower side. So black makes a knight's move to enclose the territory. Next, a question. How should the white triangle stone run? How should this white triangle stone run? One. Time is up. First, jumping upward is not very good, because that is only running away. You do not reduce any white territory, you only reduce potential. I also saw some students try a crosscut. The idea is good, but the crosscut does not work now. Black can simply retreat. That crosscut gives no agi at all. The correct move is to attach here. Black will certainly hang upward, right? Then white should not hang along the fourth line, otherwise black connects and white has no agi. White's cut is the best agi. If black gives atari, can white extend? If white extends, what will black do? Some students think the stone in the pinning crosscut is under atari, so white has to run. Did the marker slip? Is that what you mean? White should play here. Black should block at 33 and capture the white stone. Just capture it. This cut is not to run, it is an atari. When we hang directly before, did black not simply connect, leaving no agi? Now, if black still connects, white gains a forcing atari and has two tiger's mouths. Remember, during reduction, every stone may be sacrificed, as long as it has served a purpose. No value, abandon it. Let black capture. White makes a tiger's mouth, because it is more flexible than connecting and makes life more easily. After black ataras, white must not connect. Definitely do not connect. White starts a ko. Even if white loses the ko, the outside stones are not heavy. Now suppose black does not want white to make that tiger's mouth. When white cuts, black first gives atari on the left, and when white extends, black gives atari on the right. Counter atari, capture. If white has favorable ko-threats, white can give atari here. If white's ko-threats are unfavorable, white recaptures directly. With favorable ko threats, start the ko, black ataris. With poor ko threats, capture directly. Getting it right is what matters most. It shows that you understand the position. A correct score shows that your choice was correct. A slipped marker does not matter. Alright, I want to see how many of you can set out the correct sequence from this attachment all the way through. We will use the variation where black gives atari and white captures one stone. You do not need to fight the ko. A ko fight depends on outside support, so leave it out. Question. When black gives atari on the left, why does white not extend on the lower side? If white extends black? Why can white not extend this way? If black blocks on the third line, white will certainly choose to play here. When white extends, black must lose one side. The lower stone is captured, which is a very large loss for black. First atari, then block. Neither dies. But even if neither group dies, white gets this turn in sente, which is worse. White's later extension is still sente. White becomes thick, and black cannot accept that. So how should black play? Capturing one stone is correct. Then white turns, and black retreats. Compare this with the variation we just learned. You can see why this is not so good for white. Compared with white's counter-atari variation, this one is clearly much better than the earlier diagram. Let me set it out again so you can see it. In this diagram, white has no sente I in the corner. In the earlier counter-atari variation, white had a sente I. That is why white does not retreat. Black must capture, not block. Because white's extension is not sente, white can only extend downward and make life this way. Alright, let us set out the whole variation, starting here. Alright, today's new topic. You should all have seen this joseki. White makes a small knight's move to defend the corner, and black plays the 2-4 invasion. Then, white bumps, black retreats, and white tenukis from this position. White's tenuki is normal. One more defensive move would be slow. When black clamps on the second line, white will usually make a tiger's mouth. This second line clamp gives black the right to choose. Why does white not connect? If black connects underneath, the position returns to the earlier variation, but in some cases, black can crawl one more time. In special cases, that crawl leaves white with fewer eyes. Black cannot crawl again, black dies. So, should white make a tiger's mouth or connect, there is no difference between them. The only difference with connecting is that if the opponent crawls, white has less territory and fewer eyes. What we discussed today is white's extension. We already know that if there is a stone here, black can make life in the corner, black can jump. Then the corner territory is reduced. When white wedges, black connects underneath. This atari is not worthwhile, even though it looks like sente. It is not worthwhile. When white later makes an eye, white can throw in. Just make a small diagonal back. Then when white captures, white cannot capture your first line stone. Atari connect is bad. Only if you plan to attack. If white bumps, how should black respond? Students in levels 2 and 3 should be able to answer. If white bumps, how should black respond? Black must live, otherwise the previous moves are wasted. Black first connects to gain liberties. Then attach underneath. Direct connection libs. If push and cut captures, play it. If this becomes a capturing race, black has more liberties than white. So white will run outward. Then see how the capturing race develops. If the push and cut favors black in the fight, play it. If not, make life in the corner. It depends on the position and support. For example, consider the distribution of stones on the right and lower side and whether the fight favors you. But if black wedges first, it is not worthwhile from any angle. For example, if this push and cut truly works, white sees that connecting is impossible. So white does not answer. Black's wedge only fills liberties, a simple connection is good. If white overlooks this push and cut, then play it when the fight favors you. After the wedge, you cannot cut immediately, you still have to connect back. Then, black lives. Black lives. These 5 stones will not die. Blocking makes them live. So white's bump is not good, and the wedge is not good either. But our problem does not include this stone. Without that stone, how do we make life? Do you know this, Tesuji? I still want to see whether you know it. Without outside pressure, how can black make life inside white's territory? It cannot be as favorable as before because one outside stone is missing. But there is still a Tesuji that gives black something. Black's under-attachment is a Tesuji. When white hangs, black clamps. If white connects, black captures the corner. If white bumps, black gets less than in the earlier variation, but still connects back home. There is one point to note. When white throws in, do not let white get through on both sides. White wants to throw in twice on the first line. When white throws in, black connects. If white throws in on this side, connect on the other side. If white throws in twice, black lacks liberties and is cut off. On the first line, decide, capture, or connect. Once you capture, the opponent can throw in on both sides. Black can connect back. When black clamps, white should bump. If white wedges and captures, black gladly connects. Black connects on the second line, not the first. What if white extends? If the latter favors black, cut and capture. Favorable ladder, cut and capture. Bad ladder, jump and live. White bumps, black connects, crawls and lives. Crawl once and live. Cut if possible, otherwise tiger's mouth. After that bump, black is already alive locally. Even if white becomes very thick later, white cannot capture black. Black reduces incente. If white wedges, black makes a tiger's mouth. Then black crawls through. The under-attachment is a Tesuji. First remember this hane. This hane looks like a casual move, but when you meet it, this is how you should play. Remember this. After the under-attachment, white hangs, black clamps, gives atari, then connects. If black does not give atari, white may capture outside stones and make an exchange. There is no reason not to play it. If white connects, black captures the corner. If white extends, cut and capture with a good ladder, otherwise jump. Tesuji. Let me explain this diagram again. Just now there was a case where when black's ladder is unfavorable, black jumps to make life in the corner, right? As I said, if white is very thick outside, black can live that way. But in this position, black can cut first. White atteris, black connects and lives, white is thin. Black extends, the corner has 7 liberties. Black has 7 liberties in the corner, while white has only 6. Depending on the actual game, black can also consider blocking once. If black cannot kill, come back to live. But this cut is still possible. The cut is still possible. After the cut, this tiger's mouth makes life. But before making life, black can get a little more. Under attachment Tesuji, after white connects, do not play here. Because playing here is go T. Just cut and capture directly. We play here only when white bumps. The situation is different. We cannot memorize mechanically. That is all for today.